Hello, hello! In honor of my husband and I celebrating our 1-year anniversary this month, I decided to make a video all about our Vegas wedding. I'm gonna go over the timeline, the venue, the dress, and so much more. Let's get into it. So why did we decide to do a Las Vegas wedding? Well, it definitely wasn't a part of our original plan, I'll tell you that. So Tyler and I were together about 5 years when he proposed, and we had been living together a whole year prior to him proposing. And as I've explained in other videos, Tyler is in a lineman apprenticeship, which takes about 4 years to complete, and during that time we have to live in a trailer and travel around for his work. And around the time we moved in together was right when he started. So we knew we wanted to take the next step and get married eventually, but it just was not an ideal time in our lives to do that. We're in kind of a weird transition waiting period in our lives, but we still wanted to get married and we just weren't sure how to do that. So we came up with our original wedding plan around 6 months before he proposed, because we started talking about marriage and stuff pretty fast after we moved in together. So we thought what we could do is, while he's in his apprenticeship, we would just go to the courthouse and get legally married so we could be binded together that way. And then a couple years later when he's done, we'd have more money and more freedom to have a traditional wedding ceremony and reception, just like any other wedding. Like I would get the traditional dress and all that, and it would just be, you know, a big hoopla. And a lot of people did that at the height of COVID as well. You know, they'd have their little courthouse wedding and have a traditional wedding later. So that's what we thought we would do. But the thing is, our families had not met yet. And so I was like, well, I kind of want our families to meet before we get married. And we thought Vegas would be a good place for our parents and maybe grandparents to meet, because we were in, I think we were in Utah at the time. And his family's in California, mine's in Texas. It's a good meeting spot. We all love Vegas. And I was like, well, we could just go when your work slows down in the winter. A lot of lineman work kind of stops and slows down in the winter time. So I was like, we could just go in January or something, you know, for our families to meet before we actually go to the courthouse and get married. So we're like, okay. And then I was thinking, well, people get married in Vegas all the time. It's super easy to get married there. We could just do our little wedding there and have our parents there. So we're like, okay. And then it turned into, well, we might as well just invite everybody. And so by that summer of 2023, before he proposed again, we had just kind of decided that when he does propose, we were gonna do a Vegas wedding. And we kind of started telling people about it, you know, telling our close friends and family, I think we're probably gonna do Vegas, I don't know. People had mixed feelings, but overall the consensus was, hell yeah, let's do it. So Tyler proposed in October of 2023 and we got married that following January. So we were only engaged 3 months. So I only had a short amount of time to plan, but I had help from my mom and from Tyler too. But my mom, right after we got engaged, booked our hotel rooms at the Venetian and decided, we're doing this and this is where we're staying and this is your date, January 6th. And I was like, okay. So then I called the chapel I was thinking about to see if they were available, and of course they were. So we booked the hotel and chapel immediately after we got engaged. So then we had to decide, okay, who do we invite? Now that we have a date, what do we do? Who do we invite? So we had pretty simple criteria because it needed to be pretty small. Our chapel held up to 50, which is pretty nice for Vegas. But our criteria was they had to be intimate family, close friends, and they had to be people we had talked to in the past 2 months. So by having those rules, it was pretty easy to make a list from there. So in total, including us and 2 babies, there were 35 people, and pretty much everybody came, which was crazy on such short notice. Okay, so we had our guest list, we had our chapel, the hotel, the date. How do we invite people? Because it was too short of notice to get invitations sent to us, addressed, and sent out. It was just, and with it being around the holidays, it would have just been a mess. We ended up calling everybody anyways after we got engaged, because like I said, it was intimate family, close friends. We called everyone like within a couple weeks after we got engaged and we said, They were thinking Vegas, looks like it's gonna be this weekend. We're staying at the Venetian. Pretty much everybody knew the date. Right after we got engaged, like I said, my mom got our rooms. And we got the chapel, so we got engaged October 7th. On Halloween, we sent out texts to everybody who was invited. I sent it out to my side, he sent it to his side, and we just copied and pasted this little text invite with a link to our Zola wedding website. And with the Zola site, I was able to put the whole schedule, what we were doing, where we were staying. By then we had gotten our after party venue as well booked and ready to go. We had a little registry. It wasn't a traditional registry because we do live in a trailer and we have limited space. So we had big things that people could contribute money to. And the RSVP was on there as well. So it was really nice to have everything in one place. So we sent that out with our little text invites. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the bridal shower. I did have a bridal shower, but it was a little unique. So I invited all the women who were invited to the wedding, as well as some of my mom's close friends, some other family that I love but don't see very often, or were close to growing up but I'm not close to anymore. You know, people I care about, even though I'm not super duper close with all of them. So I think in total, including the women invited to the wedding, I invited like 40 people, but the majority of them don't live in my hometown where my bridal shower was. So there was like 15 people, including me, I think, and the hostesses. And one of my mom's best friends hosted it at her house, and she's the sweetest woman ever. Shout out Jane. And Megan and Lauren, my childhood friends, for putting it all together. I thought about sending out our Zola registry to everybody, but like I said, it had the weekend schedule and everything. I just didn't want that. I didn't want everyone knowing all that. It felt a little weird to send that to people who technically weren't invited to the wedding. So we just had a money tree at the bridal shower, so I just got cash. It was awesome. And we did something too where people prayed over me and could, you know, speak blessings on me, and you know, it was like an optional thing, but it was really sweet. And we played games. At the time, people who weren't invited to our wedding didn't know we were gonna do Vegas, and so I announced at the bridal shower that we were doing Vegas. So it was really cool. There were a lot of tears. It was really sweet and intimate, and I loved that I was able to spend time with every person there because it was a smaller group, you know. So I loved it. It was perfect. And it was all Christmassy. It was in December, and it was so beautiful and sweet. Alright, let's talk about my dress. My perfect dress. I found this dress when I wasn't even looking for a wedding dress. It was before we got engaged too. So it was a couple months before he proposed. We had another wedding we had to go to, and there was a dress I wanted to get for that wedding from this shop I love in Utah called Jessica. They have the most beautiful dresses, formal dresses. Oh my gosh. So my friend Ariana was in town visiting, seeing the trailer for the first time, and so she came with me to go dress shopping for this wedding, and I tried on the dress I was eyeing, and it worked out. It was perfect. But right when we got there, I noticed this white lace dress sticking out from everything else, and so I just kind of eyed it. I didn't really think anything of it, but I tried on the dress that I purchased for the other wedding we were going to, and I was like, well, what's that white dress over there? And I go over and look, and I was like, that is really pretty. And I had my size, and I was like, let's just try it on, you know? So I tried it on, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that feeling people talk about when they try on the wedding dress and you like get butterflies. You're like, oh my gosh. And I was like, what is this? I wasn't even looking for a wedding dress. I'm not even engaged. But I walked out and I showed Ariana, and she was like, and I was like, what is this? She's like, do you love it? I was like, yeah. And I was like, this might be my wedding dress, girl. I don't know. And then we both started tearing up, and I called my mom, and I was like, I don't know if this is my wedding dress or if we're doing Vegas or if we're even getting engaged soon, but you know, worst comes to worst, I could wear it to my bridal shower. And she was like, don't buy it there. I'll buy it online. send it to my house. So my mom bought it in the size that I tried it on at the shop, so I wouldn't bring it back to the trailer and have Tyler see it, just in case it was my wedding dress. And I was like, well, it's a little more casual. If I find something else, I'll wear it to the bridal shower, whatever. Later on, after we got engaged, my mom came to Utah to visit, and we ended up going to a real bridal shop and looking at like real wedding dresses. And none of them gave me that feeling. I was like, I don't know. But we did end up finding a veil at this bridal shop that totally matched the dress that I had gotten from Jessica K. Perfect. And another thing about Jessica K dresses is they just release them in lines, and they're like limited. And so only their most popular ones are like renewed, I guess. So that white dress that I got for my wedding wasn't remade. It's like it was made for me. I felt like myself in that dress. So, and that's all I wanted, was to feel comfortable and feel like myself. So, and feel beautiful and like a bride. So yeah, it checked all the boxes. Now I'm going to go through the timeline of our wedding weekend. So it went from Thursday to Sunday. Most guests got there Friday, but we got there Thursday, and my friends, my bridesmaids, got there Thursday as well. Right when we got there on Thursday, we had gone to the marriage bureau downtown, and it was such a cool experience. And I was really like shaking. I was so nervous. Like everything became real, because there were other couples lined up to get married, and there were people like getting married there. Like we saw them get married there. It was so cool, and it was so weird. And we all had to like, you know, do like, I solemnly swear that everything is true on the document, whatever. And we got like our marriage documents and stuff to take to the chapel. It was just so cool. I don't know, I'll never forget that. Tyler and I thought that Thursday would kind of be the time for us to spend alone. People always talk about how they wish they spent more alone time with their partner at their wedding, so I was like, well, let's just dedicate Thursday to be like a date night. So we went over to the Wynn and had a nice steak dinner. Our parents met that day, and our parents got to get to know each other and spend time together too, just the four of them, which was nice. Well, anyway, after our date night, my friends, all three of them were there. They were all staying together, and they were like, well, I think we're gonna go gamble at the Venetian. And me and Tyler were like, come on over to the Wynn, we just finished our dinner. And so it was just Tyler and the girls, and we hung out Thursday night, which was really fun. So Friday was dedicated to be like a girls' day and a guys' day. So us girls went out to brunch. Not all the guests were there yet, but the women that were there, our moms, my friends, my aunt, and my cousin's girlfriend was there too. So we all went out to eat, and then the guys went to Topgolf. And for dinner that night, it was so sweet. We had dinner with just our parents and grandparents. It gave them a chance to really bond and talk. It was just really good. It was a really good dinner. The food was really good too, but just being in their company was really great. So after that, we had like a bachelorette night. We got super dressed up, and we went to this cute cocktail bar at the Venetian. The guys didn't have a plan at all. Shocker. So they ended up coming to where we were, and they ended up getting kicked out because it was one of those places where you have to reserve like the couches. Like you can only walk in if you like sit at the bar, but like the lounge area, you had to have a reservation, and we had our own little area. And all the guys, like Tyler and all his friends and my cousins and brother-in-laws, were like sitting next to us, and they're like, yo, y'all gotta get out of here. But anyway, they finally left. I'm just kidding. It was fun. All right, Saturday, the day of. 10 o'clock, the girls started getting ready in my mom's suite. We had 3 suites. We had ours, mine and Tyler's. We stayed in the same room. We didn't sleep in separate rooms. Then we had my mom's, which was the same size as ours, like a 1-bedroom. And then Tyler's grandpa got the penthouse suite. Some of the boys stayed in there. The boys like got ready in our room. The girls got ready in my mom's room, and then we took pictures in the penthouse. We took some getting ready photos in my mom's room because those rooms were very pretty. It was giving Bridgerton. So yeah, we started getting ready in the morning. My mom went all out and got us coffee and breakfast hors d'oeuvres, and my sister-in-law Lindsay brought mimosas, and it was awesome. I did my own hair and makeup because, again, I wanted to feel like myself, and I trust myself with my hair and makeup, so it was curly like it normally is. I was shaking towards the end of doing my makeup, and I'm surprised I didn't mess up because I was doing my eyeliner, like, I don't know, like the nerves kicked in like really quick. I didn't think I was gonna be nervous at all, but I was freaking nervous. But anyway, the photographer came to the girls' room first, did the getting ready stuff, the little group pictures with the girls, and then she did a couple with the guys. She took me over to the penthouse, and Tyler and I did our first look there. We took some more group photos in there. They had a piano. But then Tyler and I did portraits outside and around the hotel, which were beautiful. Shout out Caitlin Faye Photography. She is amazing. So the chapel came with a photographer and videographer, so, and they didn't allow outside photographers. So we said goodbye to our hired photographer at about 3? I want to say 3? Yeah. So we hung out in the casino and waited for our janky little cute limo to pick us up. When we got there, the ceremony was at 4. We got there around 3:50. Everybody was already there, and I thought we were gonna be the first ones there, but everyone was already there, and it was so cute. We walked in and everyone was cheering. It was so fun. So it's like that was everyone's first time seeing me in my dress, besides like the small bridal party we had, which was really fun. I kind of liked that. So there wasn't so much pressure when I was walking down the aisle. So we did our quick little sign in while everyone's in the lobby and handed them the paperwork, and then really quick we were walking down the aisle. They already had our music, and it was so crazy. They had like just couples just rotating like every 30 minutes. It's crazy. So it was so cool though, because we saw like 3 other couples getting married there at the same time. But our photographer and video guy was amazing. I don't remember his name, but the staff at Bliss Chapel was incredible. Really. The officiant was some government guy. He wasn't he wasn't hired by Bliss Chapel. He just did the ceremonies. So he wasn't associated with the chapel. He was all right. It's funny looking back, but he was all right.
Then you will take rings and bind love upon each other's fingers, and finally you will kiss her lips, threads of scarlet, smooth like silk, becoming one. And if you listen closely at that moment,
it was still sweet, and we wrote our own vows. Everybody cried. It was great. So then we had a couple hours until the after party. We didn't have a planned dinner, so us and our friends, we just had pizza in our suite, and I changed dresses. Some of the girls changed dresses. So for our after party, we went to this place called Kamu Karaoke. They have private karaoke rooms, and they have drinks, snacks. It is just the coolest place ever. It looks like a club. And we didn't know that the servers were gonna have like that revealing of clothing on, but the staff there was great. I loved all the girls that worked there, and it was really fun. And you know, and the girls were respectful too, because we had kids there. So but it was, oh my gosh, it was such a blast. And then after the after party, we went up with our friends back to the penthouse suite, and I really honestly don't remember anything else besides going down to the casino and my friend T winning $1,000 after she put in a 20 into one of the slots. Oh, and Tyler got one of those giant slushy margaritas and just carried it like a backpack through the casino. It was so fun. I want to mention that we did have stationery for after the wedding, even though we didn't technically have invitations. So for all the guests that came to the wedding, we sent out thank you cards that had a portrait of us and a picture of everybody who was there at the chapel. And it just had a sweet note that said, thank you family and friends for coming, blah blah blah, thank you for the gifts and all that. A lot of people really appreciated it, and they have it on their fridges, and it makes me happy. It's one of my favorite things that we did for our wedding guests. We also sent out postcards announcing that we were married. The criteria for that was everyone who was invited to the bridal shower, so you know that was more extended family, my mom's friends, stuff like that, plus any other people we would have invited to a traditional wedding. So if we had had a wedding with like 100, 150 people, what would that guest list be? It was extended family, high school, college friends, stuff like that. And people really loved those as well. They're really cute, kind of vintage looking. And they weren't that expensive either because they were postcards. But yeah, I just wanted to mention those as well because I thought they were really sweet. So that is all I have. My advice to you if you are planning a wedding would just be to do what you want. Do what's gonna make you feel comfortable. Wear the kind of dress, do your hair and makeup the way you want to. And I asked myself that a lot when I was planning. I was like, is this gonna make you happy? Would you want this type of wedding? Do you want to feel this way? And I wanted it to be intimate, fun. I wanted to feel like myself. I wanted it to be sweet. It was just everything I could have ever wanted and more. And I wouldn't change it for the world. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about price breakdown, budget, the legality of getting married in Vegas and how that works. Yeah, and feel free to ask any more questions down in the comments. Love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye!